Beauty, because we just opened this. There's no big fancy intro yet. We just sort of walk in like we're recording already.
Oh, is there like a pre-prepared like?
I'll do that all in post.
See,
like
I'm looking
usually,
at the thing and not at the thing.
I do that all the time. I shit you not. So if you watch back, I did the same thing when I interviewed TY, and I did the same thing when I interviewed Gigi, as I was looking at the computer screen. But we've got this.
Okay, I'm going to
this
try
fancy
to look
camera
at
right there. Hello, friends. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, actually, for like coming along with this little video interview experiment. It is our first interview live, somewhat, I guess, from the Rec Room, South Edmonton Common. Got a nice little fancy setup at home now.
LPW Arena.
The LPW Arena. The LPW Dome, brother.
That cliche hasn't been done to death. So
it's great to see you, Boris. Big Bad Boris, the voice of Love Pro Wrestling, providing the audible chocolate you hear on the Twitch streams. Everything in post-production. One hell of a handsome gentleman.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Excellent musical taste. Punk Piledrivers, yes. Of course. You can find here on Love Wrestling as well.
Back on the horse. We haven't done one since before Christmas. But
hey, we'll talk about that soon, man. We got a lot to chat about. You
and
I have never done one of these.
Now, before we even get started, I just want to say that I have a terrible, terrible memory.
That's fine. Don't worry. That makes both of us. We're just going to sit here and shoot the shit until, to be honest, you'll see the little 5% battery. We're sitting. It's the one thing we got to figure out is the power situation. Because we're running purely on Mac battery.
Like that dude that made that Teddy Hart thing that's on Peacock there. I was at that dude's house with MRB looking at sizzle reels, and I totally forgot. MRB's like, we were at that guy's house. And I was like, oh, yeah, we were at that guy's house. I totally forgot. So this is going to be an experiment in what I can remember.
I'm excited to find out. I'm excited for the journey with you. How you doing? How you been? We're on the eve of our 11th event. You've been behind the microphone for all of like the LPW exclusive events. How are you feeling? You're excited to be back behind the microphone?
I don't like the Christmas layoff because it's too long between shows, and I feel like my skills get rusty. Plus, I just love what I do, and I'm like you, I'm sure too.
Oh yeah. Soon as I walked in here, and we saw this big, like, beautiful blue event poster on the screen behind us, like, there's nothing quite like live.
Like that week between Christmas and New Year's, I'm like, I should be calling a wrestling show right now, and I was
itching for doing nothing. And usually, like, the reason that we don't run, number one, people's money is usually spoken for around the Christmas season, but number two, like between December 25th and January 2nd, usually, I forget what day of the week it is. Like, the chances of me forgetting that we had a show were somewhat high.
And somewhat even, like back in the PWA days, we didn't run that this month either, just because of people going away for Christmas and money.
Exactly,
and stuff
spend time with your family. Yeah. So. Was the PWA your start in professional wrestling broadcasting?
Broadcasting, yes, but not my start in professional wrestling. No.
Okay, so take me back. Let's start talking about the fan first, Big Bad Boris. It's such a cliche question, but like we've, again, never done one of these. So how did Big Bad Boris, a small Bad Boris...
Little Bad Boris?
Little Bad Boris... How did Little Bad Boris become a fan of professional wrestling?
I started watching wrestling with my dad way, way, way back in like the mid 80s.
Like Stampede? Okay.
Back in the day, I was born and raised, grew up in Calgary. And at 1:30 in the afternoon on Channel 2 and 7, it was Stampede Wrestling. And then 2:30 was Maple Leaf Wrestling. And that's where it started. And Saturday night's main event, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, because there's not many people I know that are like quite the wrestling historians that you are.
Well, I'm a lot older than a lot. Well, no, it's true. I'm 46, so I'm a lot older than a lot of the guys. So they talk about old school Survivor Series 97. I'm like, oh God, no. Survivor Series like 87 is old school. But yeah, so I've got a lot of years on people. So
well, when you got into professional wrestling, you have wrestled a couple of matches. We are certainly going to talk about that.
Yeah, a few.
Well, and undefeated as far as I know.
No, not even close.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, we're going to need to dive in a bit. But you've never been like a wrestler. You've always been a broadcaster. Was broadcasting always the goal when you got in, or was that sort of
young? My career I wanted to do when I was young is I wanted to be on the radio.
Yeah,
that was my thing. And for some reason, like when kids watch wrestling, they envision themselves wrestling, and I never did.
Yeah,
I just never thought that I could be that. But I'm like, I could be Gorilla Monsoon, or I could be Vince McMahon. Silly, I know it sounds, but like I could be that guy. But like I'd wrestle with my stuffed animals and stuff, and had all the action figures. But I never saw myself doing that, so it never really entered my mind to look for training or anything like that.
Yeah,
so I just never saw myself as that guy.
Man, you sort of laugh, but like people forget what a great commentator Vince McMahon really was. He was excellent.
He fit the product back in the day.
He knew exactly what he was talking about, obviously. Who would have thought?
I wonder if he yelled in his own ear in the headset. Damn it, Vince. Good shit, pal.
I don't know. I feel like there's some sort of time paradox as far as that one goes. But Gorilla Monsoon, Vince McMahon, who else are some people that you looked up to? Ed Whalen, I would have to assume, is like
my
the easy one.
hero when I was a kid was Ed Whalen.
Yeah.
Because he did the two things when I was a kid, and even today, that I love the most. He did Stampede Wrestling, and back in the day when I was young, he did the Flames games.
Yeah.
So the two things I thought Ed Whalen was the coolest guy and had the coolest job. So yeah, if you go back and you watch, like, Ed wasn't a great commentator, and it doesn't really hold up. No,
I've heard the same because, like, my dad lived out here. Obviously, he was an Oilers fan, so you're tuning into a lot of Flames games, just given the time. And yeah, he said Ed wasn't. He was a wrestling commentator.
I think that he fit the product.
Yeah,
kind of like Vince did in the '80s, but not necessarily a great commentator. But I also think that I don't want to say he was a bit of a mark. I'm trying to explain it in a different way, but there were certain things he liked and didn't like, and he had quit and walked away a couple of times because of things that happened. So
not much you can do as far as that.
His son's a good guy. Tony Whalen runs the the Edmonton and Calgary Expos.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if he still does, but back when PWA used to have the booths, he would run them.
Learn something every day.
And he would come by and chat with Kurt and chat with us, and he's got a tattoo of a microphone on his arm, and in the meantime and in between time on super cool. This is super nice guy. Very cool. Yeah, really nice guy.
There aren't many times I'll try and throw something in, but that's quite literally how I'll close every show here, right?
I try not to steal too much, and if I do, I try to give credit.
Oh, I 100% do. I credit Slick Ed. I've got to think of a better nickname, but I credit Slick Ed every time I do it. You know that. You know that.
I never met Ed Whalen. I wish I would have had the chance to, but I never got a chance to. But
neither did I.
My hero.
Good hero to have. How much did it mean to you then to get to work at the Saddle Dome?
Oh, massive.
Broadcast out of the Ed Whalen broadcast booth, everything in between.
I didn't get to go up there.
Okay, where did you broadcast from? Because I wasn't able to make it to either of them.
The first Saddle Dome show, we didn't do live commentary. I was actually in the Battle Royal.
Okay, right.
So for me to say that I wrestled at the Saddle Dome, for me is really awesome. But
like a bucket list item.
The first one, yeah, and I snuck out on. They let us roam around a little bit more on the first one than we did at the second one. The second one, they had us sequestered in this room the whole time.
Yeah.
But when we first got there, they weren't really watching us, and I snuck out onto the Flames bench and sat for a while, and I played with the goal light and stuff. I have a video on my phone of me playing with the goal light, and yeah, just really cool. The second time, they put a table right on the ice.
Oh, very cool.
I just had my laptop and we recorded it live and I edited it all together afterwards.
Same sort of way we did with that Crusader show.
Yeah, exactly. So they set the table on the ice and I called the matches and just super cool. Man, my feet got really cold. I was just wearing my sneakers, my kicks. That
doesn't surprise me.
And my feet got really cold. I was like, damn, this sucks.
It doesn't surprise me one bit. Even by the end of an Oilers game or something like that, you're cold.
Yeah, the closer you are down on the ice, yeah.
Who would have thought that the ice level would be cold?
I always got to
sit in the rinky-dink seats.
I was gonna kiss the center dot, but I was afraid that my lips were gonna stick to the ice because I don't know science. Oh my God. So I didn't do it.
What's the movie? Not Christmas Carol.
Christmas Story.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Christmas movie guy, admittedly.
Yeah. So
I like Christmas music. It's just it's overplayed.
I was afraid that I was going to stick to the ice, and that would have been the most embarrassing shit ever. So I didn't do it, but I touched it and rubbed it a little bit, so that's good enough for me.
That's so cool, man. Very, very cool. Those shows always look fantastic. Yeah. You've always been an excellent broadcaster because you did the PWA and continue, I would assume, should they run again. But
for the record, I have no information. I don't know anything.
Neither do I.
No, I don't think anybody knows.
I've only got the selfish hope. The PWA is literally the reason that I love professional wrestling, to be blunt with it. And if I remember right, you were at least there when I started coming out real consistently for stuff. But when did you get in with the Prairie Wrestling?
With the PWA? I had done ring announcing for Monster Pro for 2 shows.
I didn't know.
For 2 shows.
That's why I didn't know that.
I did ring announcing for Monster Pro for 2 shows before I got fired. It's a long story. I'll tell you one day.
Got time.
I don't want to get it. I told it somewhere else, so it is out there. But it involved Mike McGuire and a slow pitch game and blah blah blah, and I got shit canned. And it's no disrespect to anybody in Monster Pro, but I think it was the best thing that ever happened to me in terms of my wrestling career.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega was on one of those shows.
Really?
The only guy that I remember besides Massive Damage and King Lau and those guys, was Kenny Omega was on there, and I remember him being just really kind of a bit of a space cadet. No disrespect, he just seemed kind of spacey.
Yeah.
But I remember he was on those shows. But anyway,
So when would that have been then? Sorry to interrupt.
I want to say 2001.
Holy cow.
2000. Yeah, I've been doing this for 20 years. People don't. I'm like the Undertaker of this shit now. People don't. After Duke Durango retired, and
okay, so Dead Man Undertaker or American Canadian badass
I'm the least badass, and I look like I died 3 years ago. So
big bad Canadian badass.
But, Mike McGuire was doing the ring announcing for PWA, and I was am friendly with Mike, and he got a radio job in Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
and they needed somebody to fill in for ring announcing. And they came to me and I got the job, and I go back and watch those early tapes when I first started announcing, and can I curse?
Oh, of course.
I was fucking awful. Terrible. And it's funny, if you go back and watch the early PWA, like the DVDs that like Phoenix Taylor and them used to make, I was fucking awful at commentary too.
I think everybody is even just comparatively awful with the first they do of anything versus where they are now. Like, I mean, it's in the kindest ways, but you look back at the first show we did and I loved it. But we've grown leaps and bounds since then, right? Yeah. I think everybody does. But
yeah, that was how I got in there. I started ring announcing, and things snowballed into snowballing.
So you're ring announcing in Saskatchewan after
never ring announced in Saskatchewan.
Oh, Mike McGuire was in Saskatchewan. There's where my confusion came from.
Mike McGuire got a radio job somewhere. I don't remember where, but he had to move. So the ring announcing position was
vacated,
was open, and I'd already been friendly with Kurt just from meeting him and hanging out because I was friendly with some of the PWA guys.
Yeah,
and they gave me a shot.
Were you like going out to shows and all that sort of stuff before you were starting to ring announce?
A few, yeah. I was actually at I had a ticket stub from one of the first shows at the Shaw Conference Center. I was in the front row.
Oh, right.
And I got a really, really shitty, grainy copy of that show years later, and you can see me sitting in the front row, and I just think it's kind of cool going from the front row to the other side of the barricade.
That's really, really cool. I love seeing stuff like that. Like, even when you're watching, I'm sure you've watched like the World of Hurt footage and all of that sort of stuff, and getting to see all the fans and like Ivan in the middle of the ring, all of that sort of stuff. Like, love it.
Like when you see Edge in the crowd at WrestleMania 7, not that I'm comparing myself to Edge by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it's the hair.
I had hair once. I had hair like Adonis. Back in the 90s. Really? Oh, I did.
Oh, man. Please send me one. I'll throw it up on
I'll
see, I just did it. I looked at that. I'm supposed to look at
see, I'm doing it right now. Damn it. I did. I used to have long hair, and then we had a kid, and the kid used to pull it, so I cut it, and never came back. But I'll get you one, and we'll overlay it.
Throw a nice little overlay.
There you
go. I'll just do.
I think I have this old picture of me in a Smashing Pumpkins t-shirt doing the Hulk Hogan pose. I'm positive I have that somewhere. I will send it to you.
This is my favorite thing.
See what I do? I embarrass myself for you.
That's fine. Don't worry. Like in professional wrestling, like it's all about embarrassing yourself.
It is. It really is, actually.
When I walk into the middle of the ring, I know at some point during the course of an event, I'm going.
It's like the time that I had to wear the dress in PWA. And for a split second, I was like, I don't want to do this. It's embarrassing and stupid. And then like my stupid pride thing went away and my wrestling mind came in, and I was like, no, this isn't embarrassing. This is awesome.
Was that like a battle royal?
No, it was, I was managing Tex Gaines.
Okay.
And it was the Fright Night, the Halloween show.
Yeah.
And I was banned from ringside because I was always up to some skullduggery. And
excellent work.
Thank you. We did a thing where the only way I could be allowed at ringside is if Kurt Sorokin could pick my Halloween costume. And they went shopping to Valley Village and found this old granny yellow dress. And Tex Gaines' girlfriend at the time did my makeup.
Yeah.
And I came out in this just horrible dress. And yeah, for a split second, I thought it was stupid. And then I was like, no, this is amazing. Everyone's going to remember this. Nobody remembers it, apparently. But and that was the night that I got bladed for the first and only time as well.
Oh, what's that like? Because like I feel like as a wrestler, it's a weird way to put it, but like grow accustomed to it. But you're certainly not a wrestler.
Like at the time, I was very gung-ho to want to try anything and like not care if I got hurt. I'm like, I just want to do whatever because I felt lucky to be there.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have known to take a couple of aspirins or have energy drinks. I don't know if they had those at the time because this was a long time ago. But nothing really came out. So Juggernaut cracked me over the head kicked me and cracked me over the head with a kendo stick, and I went down. I didn't do it. Tex Gaines did it. And I went down, and Tex went down, and he put the blade in, and he cut, and he's like, push the blood out. And I pushed the blood out, and nothing happened. And I'll remember this for the rest of my life. He's like, Boris, I'm so sorry. And he stuck it in and twisted it. And again, I got pictures of this, and I'll send you a picture of this, and we'll overlay it over. I look at the camera right now. We'll overlay that picture too, but there's just like this little trickle. And yeah, it was cool. I mean, like it didn't suck too bad because of the adrenaline, but I wouldn't want to do it every night.
What else have you done? Have you done any I hate to be cliche, but like death match stuff or taking it to or like chairs? I would have to. I've been hit with a chair.
Juggernaut broke a candlestick over my head.
Huh?
Tex Gaines and I went through a table. That poor table didn't stand a chance. For scary bumps, that's pretty much it.
So how many matches have you officially wrestled in? Then
okay, I know
if you haven't taken that many. I'd have to
very, very few. Okay. Juggernaut and Tex Gaines were PWA tag team champions, and Tex blew his knee out, so they had to take the belts off them. So I filled in for Tex Gaines and wrestled with Juggernaut against Sergeant Hazard and Red Thunder and Sergeant Hazard. Oh. In that match, I just found it actually, and I'm 99% sure I fucking kick out of the heart attack. I don't know why, but I kick out of the heart attack, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, why did I kick out of the... I mean, that wasn't the finish, so...
You're invincible. You're basically... you're not just Alberta's Undertaker, you're like Alberta's Diesel.
So... Stop it. So there's that match. There was... Tex Gaines and I won the RCW Tag Team Championships. He phoned me up and said, hey, you want to go to Thorsby or whatever and win the RCW Tag Team titles? And again, me being like kind of a stupid mark and wanted to do everything, I'm like, hell yeah. So I literally did nothing in the match but pin. But we won the RCW Tag Team titles.
How long did you reign?
We never lost them. I never I don't know. I don't know anything about backstage of RCW or the history or whatever. He asked me to go and I thought it'd be fun. So we never actually lost them. So I have no idea. Maybe I'm linearly, if that's a word.
Champion?
And then those are and the match with Andy Anderson, obviously.
Yeah.
Those are like the only actual matches. And then I did a few battle royals because we needed bodies and it would be fun, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. That's
I feel like I might be forgetting something, but that's basically it.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Or Ken. It's just getting here.
It's Ken.
These are the fun little behind the scenes looks you get to our new setup here.
So looking at
South Edmonton.
Fucking screen again.
See, I didn't that time. I learned from you the last time. We should just implement a drinking game as far as that goes for
diet soda.
A diet soda. I'm enjoying myself a Sea Change, local brewery based.
The gout has ruined my drinking.
Oh, that's tough.
Can't drink it anymore.
That's tough.
I mean, it's probably better in the long run, but anyway, continue.
I can't. No, that is what it is. Yeah. I can sit here and talk about drinking. This is my podcast. I can. As Eric Cartman once said, whatever. I'll do what I want.
This is fun.
I agree. And thanks once again for being here. But let's get back.
I love talking about meat.
Let's talk more about you. Let's talk specifically about the broadcast end of things because you mentioned ring announcing, you've mentioned managing, but primarily the audible chocolate of Big Bad Boris. It's a staple of Love Pro. For a long time, I would say you're the voice of what Alberta's professional wrestling was because the PWA, and at least for me, was really the only product putting out DVDs, edited product in that sense of the phrase. So, and I could be wrong there. It is what it is.
I think you might be right. And again, if we are wrong, no disrespect intended.
Well, I was going to say, it's I don't know if you ever listened to Dax Shepard's podcast, but they always finish the interview with
I don't know who the fuck that even is.
He's married to Kristen Bell.
I don't know who that is.
There's a lot of stuff.
I watch a lot of wrestling and reruns of The Office. And that's about it.
That I unfortunately still remember just from my aunt's always playing that on the long car rides to Calgary.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Zoe Sager, ladies and gentlemen.
Zoe Sager.
Zoe, come on in here.
Pop in, Zoe. I'm going to put you on the spot here. What are your thoughts on Big Bad Boris?
Oh Lord, I am okay.
Yeah, no, best commentator ever.
Oh, stop it! Oh, stop it! You guys.
I've asked him to go and commentate back matches. It's great.
Actually, that's happened a few times. People have sent me stuff to do, and I'm very honored to do that. And I hope that I can take a good match and make it a little bit better.
You always kill it.
Oh my goodness.
Even better, and it was already a good match, so that's saying a lot.
There you go. There's the exclusive. Look at that. These are again the scoops you get in this environment. But back to it. So when did you start getting into broadcasting? Broadcast your first event? What was sort of the series there that led to Big Bad Boris professional wrestling commentary?
Back in the day, Michael Avery and Phoenix Taylor, and some help from some other people.
Yeah.
They filmed the PWA shows, and they asked me to. Some other people, Drew Dalby did some commentary, and Tim Stein, who I don't know, I've never met, but he was around back then. They did some commentary, and then they asked me to do some. So I would go over to Phoenix Taylor's place, and they'd have it all edited. And I got to give those guys big kudos because they did it all with tape.
Oh man, I couldn't.
And I actually, and I don't know how I came into possession of them, but I have a big giant Ziploc bag full of those old tapes that they shot.
I love those 2 big binders of DVDs you brought here, including, of course, CZW
Cage of Death.
Cage of Death from Combat Zone Wrestling.
So yeah, kudos to those guys doing that all on tape, because that must have been a pain in the butt. But they called me over, and I would do commentary, and either Michael Avery or Phoenix Taylor would do the color commentary with me. And I was awful. As the years went by, what happened was Tex Gaines blew his knee out, and they tried me really briefly managing a couple of other people. T-Bone I managed a little bit, and Slammer I managed just a little bit, and they just for some reason didn't really want to put me with anybody, which always made me feel like I was a shitty manager. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I taught myself Photoshop. I taught myself how to video edit.
Yeah.
And then when those guys kind of went away, they needed people to make posters. They needed people to do videos. And again, I'm not, by no means am I a great Photoshopper or a great video editor. I can film a show, and make like a show look good, but I can't make like a fancy, cool hype video. I've always tried, and they're always just kind of But I got back in that way because they needed someone to do that stuff. So I ran the website. I started the PWA's first Twitter, and then it went away and somebody else started one. But there was a PWA Twitter before the one they have now that I started way back in the day. So I just kind of, I don't want to say made myself indispensable, but I was needed because I had those skills.
Like, there's so many roles to fill, and if you're one of the only people to fill the role, like sometimes that's how you get a booking. That's like saying you got into commentary.
So I started filming the shows and making DVDs and doing the commentary and post-production. A little bit better, but still not great.
Yeah.
And then it was Michael Richard Blaze, that fucking guy. We always have to talk about him. He was like, well, why don't you record the commentary live? And I, at the shows, would do the music, and Edmonton, I would run the screen and stuff. And I'm like, well, I got, a bunch of stuff going on already doing music, and people always come and talk to me and stuff. And I don't know if we could do it, but he's like, we'll try one show. So we tried it one show. I brought my laptop in. I just recorded MP3s.
Yeah.
And I've really found my voice and it sounded better because by the time I would do it in post-production, I had seen the match twice already.
Yeah.
Because I saw it live that night, then I saw it while I edited it.
Yeah.
But doing it live is so much better.
You get a much more natural reaction.
And so as we started doing it live, I think I got better and better to the point where I am now, and I'm comfortable, and I think it's literally like the only thing I'm good at.
What do you think makes you a great commentator? I always like making people put themselves over. It's fun for me to do.
I respect what the guys do in the ring so much that I try to make everybody look good. I always try to remember what I'm selling. I always try to talk to the guys to know what's going on. And I think it's partially, and it sounds lame, but just if you love something, you do it well.
Yeah.
And it's, again, I feel lucky that I get to do this. And
you can't fake passion.
No.
Right.
If you're a phony, it's going to come out at some point.
100%. Whether it's the first time, the last time, the meantime, the in-between time. See? There we go. Look at that.
Slick.
Some of your favorite matches you've commentated.
See, people ask me that all the time. But
I know. I had to. There's some you just got to throw into an interview.
There's so many, and they all, it's hard to pick ones out, but there was a lot of MRB and BVD stuff that was always good. They did a best of 7.
Man, do I miss BVD.
Yeah, they did a best of 7 that was really good. Marky and AJ Styles was really good. It was a good match to call. It was fun to call, but also I knew how nervous Marky was, and he would come to my place and we would watch AJ Styles matches so he could study. Cool. So as the match is going on and I know that it's going well, I'm getting excited because I know it's going well. Anytime you get to call a match with like a Samoa Joe or those guys, like, again, you feel lucky to call matches like that. We had Joe and AJ and PWA, and I'm like, I get to call this? Okay, cool.
All right.
Like specific ones don't stick out, and no disrespect, but just there's so much good stuff. We've been spoiled here in Alberta for a long time by having a lot of really good talent. So
right, like, and you and I could probably beat that to death as far as it goes for the next couple hours. Like, this province has been so talented for years and years and years, and it's kind of nice that not only in Alberta, but I think the entire Pacific Northwest really is starting to break out in a big way. I'm gonna ask for the fan take. What do you think it is that's sort of causing the I don't want to say resurgence, because there's always been promotions like a Defy for at least the last 6, 7, 8 years, right? Like,
do you know what I honestly think it is? And I've talked about this a lot, as I think it's the technology. Mm-hmm. The talent's always been here, but now you can film a show and have it online on YouTube in a day that the world can see.
Yeah.
Whereas, back when PW first started, there wasn't any YouTube. There's, you make your DVD and you hope that the couple of guys in the crowd would buy it. This thing could go online and be watched by somebody in Los Angeles in 20 minutes.
So and Yahoo for my interview.
And like internet pay-per-view and stuff like that. I think the technology is giving it's like bands. It's really easy to just you can make a decent sounding record for decently cheap or a CD and get it out streaming right away. So the talent's always been there, but I think the technology's caught up with the talent, and you can make it go really fast.
I know you sort of alluded to a lot of the people there, but maybe who are some of the people in Alberta that you've loved calling matches for? Or
I liked Stampede Bulldog stuff. I liked Harry and TJ. I think that the Stampede Bulldogs and the New Karachi Vice and the Funky Bunch had really, really great matches back in the day. The MRB BVD stuff is good. I liked some of the funny stuff, like Fabian Ribeiro. Those are always really, really fun matches to call. But it's stressful because I'm calling the match, but I know I've got a music cue. So in my mind, I'm like, I got to keep calling the action, but I know that at some point he's going to do the thing and throw the thing, and I got to play the music. And there
were a couple of times at the start of LPW where the bell was rung a couple of seconds later than you'd think.
I forget I have to do it.
It's, you and I both. There's cues that just sometimes you're excited and you miss.
And I think there's a couple of times on commentary I'm like, oh shit! I literally say, oh shit! I got to ring the bell, and I ring the bell.
That's said with love.
Oh yeah. Everyone's good. So good. Tons of talent.
Real lucky. We're real lucky as far as it goes. It's going to be weird because it's the promoter asking you, but how have you enjoyed your time with Love Pro?
Super fun. Super fun. It was nerve-wracking going live.
Yeah.
Because the only time that I'd ever gone live was that first Clandestine Society, which is still one of my favorite nights of my God. I hate using the term career because I think it sounds kind of lame coming from me. Career. But like one of my favorite, like the Saddle Dome and the Clandestine show are two of my favorite nights.
Yeah.
But going live is like and very, very, very rarely have I ever edited myself in post. Very, very rarely. There was one time, and I don't know why it happened, but I was calling a Chris Steele Duke Durango match, and I real named Chris Steele.
Oh, just out.
And I was like, how
did I do that?
Yeah. So I fixed that. But very, very rarely have I ever gone back and like change stuff.
Yeah.
But going live was nerve-wracking at first just because you don't want to screw up, but now I'm pretty comfortable. And it's also fun just like knowing I'm directly talking to people out there, because I always wanted to do radio. So it's kind of like that. So knowing there's people out there, a lot of fun. We've got great talent first and foremost. That's what's important. We got a great venue.
Yeah.
Super fun.
I love it, man.
And you pay me more. Maybe we should take that out. I don't know.
No, that's
but you do.
I was just going to say that's the clip I'm going to send out so we can start to advertise to other people.
And you know what? There's 3 microphones there, and usually I'm the only one there. So maybe I should get 3 envelopes. I'm kidding.
Okay, so I guess that's a good question. If there's anybody else, because like we've had Thaddeus Archer on there, of course, Warren Bears, Veda Scott's come in for the matches that they were here for, and then your little pop-ups, No Jabari's hopped on, MARC. Is there anybody that like you would want to call more matches? Is there anybody that you maybe even think that you haven't commentated with that would make a great commentator?
I've done so much by myself that it's weird. Like there's not very many people that I can think of besides like Joey Styles that would call full shows by themselves. But we just like in PWA, there'd be like that chair would just be sitting there. So people would sit in it.
Yeah.
Some good, some not so good. And I've gotten, and I feel guilty for it, but I've gotten very protective of that seat next to me just because, if it's not good, I want everything to be as good as possible.
Yeah.
And like, if that's not for you, no disrespect, but it's not for you.
Because at the end of the day, it does reflect on you in some way, shape, or form.
I don't know. There's not a lot of voices around here, which is why I wonder why I'm not booked more in other companies. But there's not a lot of voices around.
You should get.
I think Thaddeus is really good, but he's also amazing at what he does in the ring and with the Archer Report. So
he wears a lot of proverbial suits.
His time is his time is limited. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's figure that one out. Because figure that one out if you ever want to.
I'm totally open to having somebody else.
Which is having like solo commentary. Like you say, Joey Styles is really the only guy that I could think of off the top of my head that would be just full show by themselves for the most part and killing it. Just killing it like you do.
And I get very comfortable with myself, but I'm absolutely not opposed to having someone there to zing things off of, especially a heel.
That's true. So I think what makes Thaddeus great.
Because I'm a good straight man, journalist, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but we need someone to
make Thaddeus great. He's despicable. I love it.
We need somebody to be the other side of the coin. Thaddeus is the other side of the coin. The shitty part that's on the bathroom floor. You know, that part.
There you go.
I love that guy. Officially, I hate him, but I love him.
Now, I can't close this out without having the host of Punk and Piledrivers chat a little bit of little bit of punk rock. Where'd the passion for punk come from?
I've loved music my whole life. Like when I first really got into music was in like the mid 80s, and I was like a big hair metal guy. Big hair metal guy. And then I went from hair metal into like the alternative kind of grunge scene.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the punk thing came in. And I know you're supposed to be like rebellious when you're young, and it's not even the rebellion. It's more just for me, it's the music. As I'm getting older, this is how I explain it. I don't know if this makes any sense to anyone but me. But if Tool put out a new album that's like 7 songs in 90 minutes, what like 18-year-old me is like, hell yeah, let's dive into this thing and dissect it. This is really cool. Now I'm 46. I'm old. I'm tired. Give me 13 songs. Give me 26 minutes. Give me your best shit because I got to go to bed and go to work tomorrow. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just like the music. I like that punch. I like how it makes me feel when I'm in the car. You know, you get it.
Oh, of course I get it. Of course I get it. Like we've got a giant Weezer poster behind us right now. Of course I get her.
I've been working on Weezer puns for like.
I think you like ask Thaddeus when you see him just how upset he is, excuse me, with his DMs because I keep sending him all these videos of like you just got Weezer where someone will be playing a song and it'll hop into like that riff from Buddy Holly.
Yeah, I've been working on Weezer puns to slip in during matches, but I'll probably forget them all just because I'm so focused on telling stories.
It's not a bad problem to have. Punk and Piledrivers, where was the inspiration for that then?
I had I went to Nate for radio, and then the pandemic came and just ruined all of that. But I had an after-hour show on Nate Radio called Old Man Yells at Cloud, because I was like 20 years older than everybody in my class, where I would play songs and just talk about whatever. But it wasn't a wrestling show; it was a music show, but just talk about whatever bullshit between songs. And that's originally how I kind of wanted to do it, where I would play songs I like and just bullshit around. That was originally what the podcast was going to be. And then I had a guest on one time, and next week I had somebody else, and it just kind of combined my two favorite things, music and wrestling, and it just kind of morphed into what it is. And I think it's kind of a neat idea to have the guests pick songs they like. It's kind of a misleading title because it is Punk and Piledrivers, and I always play the last song, which is usually a punk rock song, but I let guests pick whatever they want, except I censored MRB one time, and I felt bad about it.
Told me about this.
Yeah, he picked a band that I don't like. And I said no.
Name drop. Do it. Come on.
I don't remember.
Big Bad Boris shoots hard. Richard Blaze.
I don't remember. I want to say it was like Refused or some band like that I don't like. I say I'm not a snob, but I'm a massive snob. If I don't like a band, it's like fuck you if you like that band.
There's only 2 for me. I can't listen to Yes, and I can't listen to U2.
Like
unlistenable.
Like I fucking hate Rise Against.
Okay,
I hate shit. What's that band? What's that band that does Ball and Chain?
Social Distortion.
Yeah, I don't like Social Distortion. I know.
I really like Social.
I don't like any of that like Celtic punk, like Flogging Molly and stuff. Not for me.
Okay.
But anyway, like I would let guests pick whatever. So we've had like the Beatles and country music and all kinds of stuff. But I think it's kind of cool to let the guests pick the songs they like. And sometimes they have good stories and sometimes they just pick whatever.
I was going to say, is there a band that like maybe you've found coming out of that?
Coming out of the pocket? No, not really.
My taste is better. I've got you're set.
Okay. But yeah, we haven't.
You don't need to pick up anything from anybody. My taste is better. Says Big.
No, it's not bad. It's just a lot of the stuff that they pick is it's just stuff that I'm not into.
That's fair.
But that's fine. It's not about me. It's about them and what the songs they want to pick. I haven't done one since before Christmas. I took the end of the year off after I did the 2-in-1 week, and I've been meaning to get back onto it. I've been working on somebody from the States, but the timelines aren't just mashing up.
I got that. Time zones are the freaking worst as far as
he's like, I could do it anytime before 4 p.m. Eastern on a weekday. I'm like, well, I have the shoot job, so that doesn't work. But I want to get back into it. I was thinking of actually doing some guerrilla podcasting tomorrow. Cool. And just bringing the laptop and the headset, setting it there, and whoever wants to come sit before the show for a couple minutes. That's what I was thinking of doing.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like doing it.
Look at this media.
It's like me getting to do radio still, but I get to do my own radio and I can say the F word, which I do a lot.
Oh yeah, you and I have certainly toned it down. You and I converse quite often off of the microphone, and we're both prone for F-bomb.
And I've got to catch up with old friends like Amir Jordan, who worked for PWA for
really,
a long time.
Cool. That was cool.
And I always liked him. He's a good guy. And then like getting to talk to Raj, Fabian Ribeiro, got a chance to talk to him too. So yeah, it's cool.
A lot of good human beings out here in Alberta, man, including, of course, yourself, Big Bad Boris, you big bad stud.
Are we done? Ask me more questions. Ask me about how I beat Andy Anderson. I totally beat Andy Anderson. Choked him right out.
Big Bad Boris?
He hasn't been anywhere since.
Big Bad Boris? How did you defeat Andy Anderson?
I choked him out.
Well, tell me the story, because I actually look back really fondly on that one.
Do you want like do you want the kayfabe story or the shoot story?
Shoot story.
Okay, the shoot story.
Come on, brother.
I need some toilet paper, brother.
Come on, brother. Help.
Just the world is so weird.
This is going to be such a dated reference even by the time I put this out.
When's this going out? Next week?
Next week or the week after.
Oh my god.
Because I've got here's the thing, is match editing kicks back up
again I guess, yeah. So Andy was the commissioner of some sort in PWA at the time, and he had an employment opportunity that was going to have him working Saturday evenings, so he wasn't going to be able to make shows anymore.
Yeah.
So Andy and I very close, and when he was being written out, he was like, I want to do something with Boris. So we did a thing where I was like making mistakes and playing wrong music.
I was going to say, because I remember that it was at the Resolution Rumble, if I remember right.
Yeah,
like something happened with the music.
Yeah,
and he came and screamed at you.
He put me in the Resolution Rumble, one of the few matches I was in, and I took a bump and didn't hit the back of my head, which made me happy. But then, so we did a thing where he challenged me to a match, and if I beat him, he had to leave, and if I lost, then I'd be his servant or slave or some shit like that. And we went over this match 1,000 times at my house. That because I get like tag matches and battle royals and stuff, I can kind of hide, but this is like one-on-one, literally the only one-on-one match I ever had. And we had a big house that night. I forget who else we had. I think that was Christopher Daniels.
Was it
Tennille Dashwood? Yeah, so we had like a good house. That was like one of the bigger.
Or no, it wasn't.
Or was it Jay Lethal?
Daniels. No, because Jay Lethal, it's going to sound dumb, but like my memories of all of them come from where I've got my photos on my phone.
Oh, okay.
So for that show, I was sitting on the rafters, which meant I was having a couple of beverages because it was a Nate show.
So we went over it literally like 1,000 times because I didn't care about getting hurt. I just didn't want anything to look stupid, and I didn't want Andy to look stupid.
Yeah.
So we went over it 1,000 times. He's like, don't worry. You only have to like take one or two actual bumps. You won't have to run the ropes.
Yeah.
And we went over everything 1,000 times. And it turned out, other than the avalanche hoe train in the corner, which is the worst avalanche hoe train, and I'll give you the footage and you could overlay it now. It's literally, I run and then I stop and go, It's awful. But other than that, it all turned out so well.
You looked like $1 million, man. And the crowd was so behind you.
People had signs and they were chanting my name and stuff. And I was going to WrestleMania that year. And it was like 2 or 3 weeks after. No, it was my first WrestleMania that I was going to, and it was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that. And all I kept thinking was, just get through this match, and then you can go to WrestleMania. But it went, and he put me over like gold. Oh, he did. Yeah. He shot the finish on me though. He changed it.
Oh, really?
And I didn't know. He just was, feeling out how things were, and he changed the finish in ring.
And just didn't kick out?
And no, we were supposed to do a thing where I had him in the sleeper and he was supposed to run me in the corner and I would hit and then I would turn around and slingshot him into the corner and he would hit it and then I'd roll him up in 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
But he just decided to just do the sleeper and pass out. I don't know. We were worried about the slingshot because you see slingshots sometimes. If you don't know what you're doing, they can look real shit.
Yep.
And if you blow the finish. So I think maybe he was a little concerned about me doing the slingshot. And I don't feel disrespected by that at all because he's a professional wrestler and I'm not.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing and like security dragging him out and everything. And yeah, just beautiful. So I watch it once every 6 months or so.
Would you wrestle in other singles? Because like I'm sure Thaddeus Archer's going to get on that last nerve at some point here.
Thaddeus and I have been talking about a death match for years.
Thaddeus has talked about a death match with everyone I know because him and Ben Oman want to have one too at some point.
A one-on-one, okay, this is no disrespect to Thaddeus, but I don't know if Thaddeus and I having a one-on-one is that great because neither of us are trained wrestlers. There needs to be a vet there to lead us through. I'm also older now. My body's starting to fall apart. But it's hard to say no just because it's so much fun. I stress out. But like once you get in there, it was fun. People chanting my name and I beat the guy and signs and stuff.
Huge
and I'm high-fiving. I threw a t-shirt into the crowd. All that stuff that like when I got into the PWA Hall of Fame, I said that 9-year-old Boris thinks this is the coolest shit ever. So yeah, I'm sure if I was offered it by a promoter, I could sell a lot of tickets to friends too. Promoter, I would do it. I don't know.
How many tickets can you sell?
I don't know. Probably, probably a lot. I just don't know what storyline would make sense for me to do that. I'd love to hit Thaddeus in the head with a light tube, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm sure this venue would not be very happy with that. I heard that at where we did that clandestine, they were sweeping glass for weeks. And
the rec room was fine with our ladder match. I hope they would be okay with any sort of glass or light tubes or anything like that. We did that hardcore match at the first show.
I remember that match.
We did that
fire. Didn't somebody light somebody on fire in that match?
Yeah, Jack Pride threw fire.
Jack Pride.
Jack Pride.
I used to like him.
Used to be, well, I still like half. We'll find a story. We can get you in the ring.
All right. Well,
that ticket sale promise is sounding good.
I'm not even lying.
I'll take it.
All right.
I'll take it 110% of the time. PWA Hall of Famer, like, is it's a weird way to put it, but like, is that meaningful for you? How much does it mean to you? I know a lot of just like with professional wrestling being what it is, there are a lot of different takes on awards and things of that nature. So.
Halls of Fame and that kind of thing, like especially with wrestling, a lot of people think it's kind of bullshit and silly. And there's a lot of guys, like I know a lot of guys who have said they were offered PWA Hall of Fame when they said they didn't want to do it. But for me, who grew up as a wrestling fan and was never a wrestler, it meant a lot. It really does. I wish I got a plaque, but they stopped making plaques, so I don't have a plaque. But Kurt said he was going to make plaques and give them to all of us, but I haven't got my plaque yet. But honestly, it really, really did, because I felt like I was legitimate.
Yeah, just a form of validation.
And something it's funny. Well, it was funny. Something happened literally today. Do you know who the Struggles is?
No, I don't.
The Struggles. He's a guy in the States who does a lot of digital media for wrestling. He does commentary for ICW No Holds Barred. Okay. And he also runs ETU. It's a new company, Expect the Unexpected. And he tweeted today, used to feel lucky that I'm here. Now they're lucky to have me.
Yeah.
And I was like, boom, that's how I feel. Because I put my 20 years in, and for years, and even now, I still feel like I don't deserve to be here. I feel lucky. But now I'm like, you know what? You fucking guys are lucky to have me, because I'm doing my shit and I'm trying hard and all that stuff. So yeah, that really kind of hit me, that tweet, literally this afternoon. But yeah, the Hall of Fame really was cool. I went in with Sergeant Hazard and Hollywood Dusty Adonis.
Oh, great.
And we were the last class other than Dr. Kyoto went in before he moved back to Japan, before he came back again.
Yeah.
So I think we broke the Hall of Fame after that.
The first time I interviewed Hollywood Dusty Adonis, he was in the bath.
I think
tells you everything you need to know.
I have seen his penis more than I've seen my own. He would just walk around the locker room en natural. And I've mentioned this on more than one podcast that I've done.
That doesn't surprise me. Wonderful human being.
He's an interesting character, yes.
Every so often, he'll just send me a text that he says, I hope you're having a great day.
Yeah, he does that. He does that to me as well.
Good human being.
Yeah, good guy.
Good human being.
He was over like hell, too.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
He's still out every so often. Maybe that's who we get you in there.
Oh, Lord.
I know it's a cliche way to close it out, but I always love closing it out with this one, especially at the start of a year.
All right.
Goals for 2023. What does Big Bad Boris want to do, wrestling or otherwise?
I want to call a wrestling match outside of the province of Alberta.
Okay. I like that.
I just don't know how to put myself out there any more than I already have. Like, I don't want, like, I talked to the WrestleCore guys a little bit, and they were like, well, we have a YouTube channel where people, dub over commentary and stuff. And that's cool, but that's kind of not really what I'm looking for. Like, I want to be the guy. Yeah. So I want to call a match and not like have it sent to me, which is cool. If you want to send me your stuff and have me call it, that's cool. But I want to travel to Saskatchewan, or I want to travel to BC or Ontario, or I want to call kind of like Veda Scott,
Yeah.
I want to call a wrestling match in another province this year.
Not just be the voice of LPW, be the voice of friggin' Canadian.
No, I'm not going anywhere from here. I love it here. This is
and don't
this
think
is
that
is home base.
You better friggin' good.
I want more money. I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I will sell tickets.
You know what, Boris? I want more money too.
I bet we all want more money.
I'm a professional wrestling promoter, man. I hate money.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, now we are going to close it out because, well, we got stuff to do for setup and the computer is going to die.
I have to go home and rest my voice.
You do. I've taken up a lot of your time. So the only thing I'm going to ask you before we close it out, where can the people find you? If people do want to book you for some out-of-town events, if people want to hear some audible chocolate of Big Bad Boris.
You can find me on the Twitter machine at BB Boris, Big Bad Boris. You can find me on Instagram at BB Boris1. I don't really have anything else. You can check out the PWA Wrestling CA on YouTube. That's got a whole heap of stuff. I've been thinking about, because I don't know the future of PWA. I literally don't know anything about what's going on. Kurt's life has changed a lot for the better.
Yep.
He's a grandfather. He's got a great job, and he's really happy. I've been thinking about just going through these hard drives of stuff that I filmed over the past however long, and just starting to dump stuff on YouTube just for fun.
Dude, on YouTube, do you like some watch-alongs on Twitch?
Yeah. We do have a Twitch channel. Alistair Dark started a Twitch channel for PWI. I wonder whatever happened.
That's a name I haven't heard of forever.
He's a good guy too. I like him a lot.
Humor.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Any dealings I had, because every so often they'd help me out with stuff for the Win Column Sports Network.
Yeah, good guy.
He's another name you haven't heard in forever.
But that is where you can find me. You can find me also on all of your stuff, our stuff, if I may say that. But yeah.
Feel encouraged too, friends. We would really appreciate it, not only for the fact that we love the support. It is incredibly meaningful that you take the time and tune in when there's so much professional wrestling content, interviews, everything in between. So the fact that you're taking time for us means the world. When it comes to Big Bad Boris, take the time, because if we're talking great wrestling commentators, hot damn.
Yesterday on Twitter, Thaddeus Archer posted a clip from an interview he did where he was kind of putting me over, and tweets kind of started flooding in about nice things about me, and it warmed my heart. So I do appreciate all of the love and recognizing what I'm doing, and I do appreciate it because it makes me feel good.
I'm going to add a fourth B to the triple B that is Big Bad Boris. Book Big Bad Boris. If you want excellent professional wrestling commentary, you want an excellent human being doing it, this is the official Love Pro Wrestling endorsement. And Boris, thank you for the time again today, man. It's always
anytime. This is fun.
And shoot the shit.
Yeah, man.
This is far from the last one. I'm certain.
Hell yeah.
And hopefully this is far from the last interview that you friends tune into. If you aren't subscribed, it would be thoroughly appreciated if you do. Just go and hit those buttons, click those links, whatever you got to do to show a little bit of extra love to us here at LPW. Thank you very much for doing so. You can find us wherever videos are played, audio is listened to. I watched myself glitch out there for a second. That's what threw me off. Audio
You're looking at the screen again.
See, I know. It threw me. Audio is listened to. Our awesome content is created by awesome people, including, of course, the Punk Piledrivers podcast. Follow us at Love Wrestling CA. For Big Bad Boris, I've been Spencer Love.
Can I close this out like I close out every I close out every PWA show and every LPW show?
Of course you can. Close her out.
For everyone involved here at Love Pro Wrestling, my name is Big Bad Boris. Good night, everybody.
It's pretty sweet, hey? I like that.